In the last or previous sessions, we were talking about identity. That's the start of any spiritual journey. You have to know who you are. And then we talked about divinity, the goal. Bhakti is what brings these two together. There's a very, very educative hand gesture, a so-called mudra, which is used in the spiritual traditions of India and also in Bhakti. It's this one, known as the Jnana mudra. I will show it a little bit around. If you want, you can also make it. The index finger representing the individual self is joined to the thumb, which represents the spiritual truth, the supreme divinity. And in this way, a circle is closed, a circle which at once helps the practitioner to overcome the big three. These are the binding forces to material existence: action, inaction, and balance. In short, the binding forces. The bondage can be stopped by bringing the individual self in contact through yoga with the Supreme Self. In Bhakti, the yoga is the yoga of love and devotion, which totally frees the self from its entanglement in the material bondage. This is something I find always very inspiring. In Bhakti, the union, the yoga, happens through love. I cannot fail to say how this is a universal principle that appears in various names and various forms throughout the history of mankind, while it was on the search for meaning, on the search for the higher connection. By sincerely and honestly entering a union with the Divine, who is the center of all that is, one awakens the greatest potential that is lying dormant in the heart. The experience of boundless divine love, or bhakti, or prema. In bhakti, you don't have to become something. You don't have to morph into something that you are not yet, but that is a more ideal version of yourself. No. In bhakti, you just have to discover what is already dormantly lying within you. Now, once bhakti starts to rise in the heart, it is almost like something like a sunrise in the morning. You will feel two things: an increasing amount of spiritual enlightenment or love, and you will also see that the darkness, the inner darkness, goes away from you. Therefore, the rise of bhakti is often compared with the rise of fire or the sun or the moon, you know, whatever light you can imagine. My spiritual master once said that the unity between the soul and God, remember this gesture, starts to rise in the heart, and then it emanates to all beings unconditionally. The love, in other words, spills over from the heart and goes to other living entities. And he wrote something very nicely and encouragingly. He said, our loving propensity expands just as the vibration of light or air expands. Bhakti is the science of loving every single one of the living entities perfectly by the easy method of loving the divine. Any trace of separateness, in other words, is overcome, and bliss, the bliss of ecstatic love of God, arises in the heart.